The Real RiskTaker, episode 6. Each one of us has to decide if we will become the real RiskTaker or just hide in the shadows and pray that they are a RiskTaker, because they know about the RealGuides and what the ALLLISSS has chosen. The NUMAN 4. We are first taught the basics of what really makes sense with ourselves and how our life is. Then at some point we start to venture out and explore the possibilities that entail the whole of life, and not just the little pieces we have been raised with as a physically created person, as we are developing a personality to fit into a social role. The role of created personal self is important, indeed, because it provides objective experience for us to see ourselves from our real awareness. While the personal self is so developing, it is also taking on a lot of conscious and unconsciousness particles that are not noticed, as it has a limit capacity, even so it thinks differently about itself. As we go through countless embodiments, we gain the views we need, because society is what it is, and each social structure is different or various, even thought very similar for the most part. The personality self does not recognize the overall of its position with the RealU, the real awareness. So by the very fact of what the personality self becomes encumbered with, which is mainly unconscious, even thought within itself, it feels relatively confident with what it decides. It cannot possibly recognize the true reality of itself without a real guidance that is not found on the earth alone for even at all. This then becomes a very important part into becoming the real RiskTaker, which is definitely not for everyone because of what the personal self has decided and is not willing to let go of to see beyond its own created shadows. So the little self justifies its existence with the fear it has acquired from the invented belief system. This fear becomes a social acceptance as civilizations develop into whatever they will. I have personally taught so many people over the years, and I have seen how people hold themselves back because they have a family or a business or relationships that are not interested in exploring the whole of life, but merely staying in tune with whatever society does that supposedly looks normal to do. The real risk-takers I'm working with on a daily basis are not concerned with what others think of them or if their business will suffer, because they are telling others about Dwayne Great Writers here and the new you. They are the people who are sharing their real experience and also contacting everyone they know and telling them about the new you and sending them the new books. It seems for some that no matter what I imply, they are still not listening. I I will say this for your own sake and those of the others that are sincerely looking for a truth. Take the risk now. No matter what your experiences are or are not, no matter what your friends will think of you, and no matter what the outcome of your business will be and what you think will happen. This world is only getting worse every moment. This is real now. This is a bit strong, but we are in the times when so much is taking place. When you take the risk, the real guides will step in and do what you cannot even imagine. But only you can take the risk and do this. They cannot without your will. I know this statement sounds funny, but it really is all for you. I have walked a lot of years with my privileged position, and by this I mean that it has always been a privilege for me to risk my life, to bring this out into the public, as this is how the real adventure is. I'm sure there are many who think I'm making all kinds of money, like Crown and King Gerald with their membership supported corporation. But the opposite is true, as I can barely afford the rent I have to pay each month at this time. I have been working on my own investments to have my own money and not to be supported by what I like to give away for the most part. Dear Wood and Gerald were handed the corporation and they have become the spoiled old man with it. It has all been their choice and I do not accept anyone to accept what I'm writing here, but to go to the real side ALLLIFEIS and see for yourself. What they have done is fine with me because I see far more than they ever will, because they did not see the ALLLISS. I have been the most fortunate with all the struggling I've gone through as I have held my heart and intent into a true focus with what is real now. What I'm really laying out here is all for you. This is how life is. I cannot have what the whole of life is until I am willing to let it all be for everyone. It is not that I am following the course life is so much, so it is that this is what I want to do as I have become more aware to the true reality our life is. By the very fact I took the risk as I have, what I am constantly experiencing shows itself to me for what it is. Until you risk everything within yourself that you have created as a barrier and a shadow, then you are not the real risk taker, but a shadowy reflection of an idea you have created as an venom. I'm writing this true course for you. Why you are taking it is always up to you. But until you step forward and walk with Dwayne great writers here and what he is doing for all the unaware on this planet and everywhere, then you are merely fooling yourself with whatever lifestyle you are with, because there's no future here. This is real. Just like in the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton, there is a scene with Inspector Eckhart where he said to one of the main characters, "You aren't gonna future, Jack. You can fool yourself for as long as you want to about the earth and all the things that are taking place here. but it is the same as if you were on a raft floating down the river at the mercy of the currents, and suddenly you hear a sound and it gets louder very fast as you then realize it is a giant waterfall and you will be going over it. This is how this crazy place is. I do what I do 24 hours a day, every day, because I know what is taking place on Earth, and I love risking my life every moment for this great adventure with life. Is your life and business so precious to you? And is it really worth more than being totally aware and self-sufficient? Do you really think you will be fine just to get by with what you are doing and hope the RealGuides will do the rest? Is it how you really want things to come out for you? Learn to be real with yourself and drop all the silliness you have learned from the spiritual path that now go nowhere except to the influence and her gods. It really is more fun to be real and live dangerously than life comes rushing in and you have everything you ever wanted and will ever need, but you still have to pay the rent because this is the earth. Train the great writer, seer. This was episode 6.